Hi, and welcome to JeraSoft Billing Release Overview for version 3.20. I will start with a brief reminder that you can check out our previous webinars and useful videos on our YouTube channel. Also, please refer to a complete revisions list with new features and reworks on our documentation portal. In this release, we introduce you to our newly developed section for swap deals management. It will save you time and effort in configuring and monitoring the bilateral deals progress with your partners. The section is presented as a list. Let me do a small demo for you. To create a new swap deal, you need to click on New Swap Deal button. The pop-up window will open where you will be able to set up your deal. Name it, set the client or the account for the deal, set the status to active, select your desired currency, and then you can proceed to period settings. You can set the exact start date for the deal, let's pick today, and the period. You can set it in days or months. When you're done, just hit OK. The newly created deal will appear in the list. You'll be able to click on it to go inside and set up all the agreements. On an example of a currently running deal, let me explain to you all the functions that we have to provide. Our system supports swap deals management from multiple services and destinations. You can list them as items right here. You'll be able to see forecasts per inbound and outbound separately, as well as revenue calculations and informative alerts that will ensure you'll fulfill your commitments on time. Please note that for correct swap deals tracking, you will need the corresponding prices in the rate tables for the involved parties. In order to give more flexibility, the routing policies module has been completely reworked in the newest version. It is now possible not only to use predefined routing policies, but to create your own with a set of factors that fits your business needs. The available factors to create your own routing policy are rate, quality parameters such as ASR, ACD, PDD, and SCD, vendor debt, and payment due. Generally, the routing policies section looks more insightful and simple now. The simple quality, simple LCR, and proportional policies, as you can see, are the same as before and include the same factors. To simplify things and speed up the routing map generation, the complex quality and complex LCR have been converted to simple ones respectively. We have also added the new cash flow policy to illustrate new factors available for routing. Plus, the routing map generation speed is 1.5 to 5 times higher now, depending on the specifics of your rates and settings. For added convenience, you can now specify quality filters such as ASR and ACD not only within the policy, which is simple LCR in this case, but also per each individual routing rule, right here, minimum ASR, minimum ACD. It will allow you to remove vendors with lower quality from the routing in real time. The filters can be applied to both dynamic and static rules and will work the same way as for routing map generation, including analyze period, minimal statistics quantity, and default values given in system settings. The routing analysis section has been visually reworked to make it more efficient for the client to analyze the query results. The new output options include verbosity, which lets you control the route's output based on them being accepted or rejected by the system. The second option is skip reasons. It lets you control routes under which checks should be removed from the results. And there are really a lot of options. I've created a query for customer D. Let me explain the newly arranged columns. So first is status. If you hover over rejected, you will see all of the reject reasons for each individual route. In the routing rule column, if you hover over the badges, you will see the details for both static and dynamic routes. The vendor column shows both vendor and their account name. Both entities are clickable for instant access to their details. Rates. Those are vendors' rates. The red is markings for the unprofitable routes. So both vendors and customer rates right here have extensive details. If you hover over them, you'll be able to access them. Also, if the rate will have the end date or there will be some future rate present in the system, they will be appearing next to the current ones. The Destination Party ID column holds destination numbers as will be sent to the vendors, including details on all traffic processing rules and technical prefixes. The new version includes improvement in the routing map building for the rates with defined source code. It leads to improved profit margin checks. While running routing analysis, though, do not forget to set source party ID for correct output. The routing to DIDs have been simplified. The all destinations mode defined here has been removed in favor of default full DID match. So now you can simply add a rule with type DID and highest priority for the routing plan to be able to route to DIDs. In the scenario when the customer has multiple DIDs with the same prefix, 801 in this case, it is now possible to set a single rate for that prefix in the termination rate table instead of just listing all the DIDs. To improve profitability check, we've added billing increments matching between customers and vendors' rates in the routing. To use this feature, set the Match Increments field under the Rules Processing in the routing plan settings. The field can be for dynamic-only routes or dynamic and static. If selected, it will exclude vendors with increments that do not match customers' rates from the routing list. The option checks that customers' increments proportionally overlap vendors' increments. To make the import process even more simple yet functional, we've added a few new options to the Step 2 of import settings. The first one is If Unchanged field. This option lets you declutter your A to Z rate tables. It detects if the newly imported rates are somehow different from the ones that are currently present in the system. If the only difference is the effective date of the rate, you will have the option to either preserve or skip them. The second one is On Warnings field. This option manages alerts from the Analysis Settings section. If any, you'll have the ability to either preserve those rates, skip them, or abort the whole import process. Another new option is Billing Increments check. If it's enabled, the system will raise an error in case imported rates billing increments differ from those already present in the rate table. Additionally, the On Duplicates mode has been deprecated as the system can automatically detect full duplicates during import. If any are found, they would be skipped. In the previous versions, the duplicates were considered the rates that had the same code plus effective from pair. Now, all of the settings of the rates are taken into account. The import reverting process has been reworked for the ability to restore more accurate pre-import data. That is, if you chose to stash the current trace during the import process, once you'd run the undo procedure using this button, they will be again active. Also, the last modified date of the rate table would be restored to the one before the faulty import. we have broadened the area detection functionality for the jurisdictional billing module. From now on, for those clients who have access to the LERG database, the system will be able to pull not only data for interstate and intrastate and intralata, but also inter-MTA, intra-MTA, and local. For that, we use the LERG 6, LERG 8, and LCA databases. This functionality is available in the traffic processing section of the billing system. If the NANP processing is enabled, it will check the source and destination numbers through the North American numbering plan. In case you want only specific numbers to be checked through NANP processing, you can specify them in the match filters. Please note that in previous versions, the jurisdictional manager used defined combinations of tags, such as interstate, intralata, for example. Right now, the tags are separate, and you can make combinations of them to your liking. That's it for today. Thank you for staying with me, and have a good day.